Teachers and staff, they've got a lot on their plate when it comes to educational expectations, especially now in traumatic situations like school shootings. Here today to talk about the emotional effects known as vicarious trauma are Suzanne Spencer and Dr. Revital Goodman. Good morning, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, I've never heard that term, vicarious trauma. Can you explain what it is exactly?
Sure. Well, vicarious trauma is a well-known phenomenon for mental health professionals. It's when we deeply identify and empathize with someone else's suffering and internalize it as our own.
So what are some signs of that vicarious
What
trauma?
we see is a person internalizing the fear, the terror, the anger, the helplessness and powerlessness of another person's suffering that can result with being very anxious, hypervigilant, feeling distressed, not being able to slow down.
How about where it relates to teachers specifically?
So Revital, Dr. Goodman and I came up with this idea because we've actually previously helped another professional population who was deeply affected by trauma that was happening as a result of the opioid crisis. And while everyone was thinking about the person that was suffering, a lot of attention wasn't being paid to those that were caring for those that were suffering. So when we looked at that, we recognized that there was also another segment of our professional population, and that led us to our teachers and to be able to support them. What's unique about Heads Up Florida is that we're addressing it from both the internal systems, as Dr. Goodman describes, but also the leadership systems, the organizational system of the school system itself. So it makes for a really powerful combination.
All right, when it comes to teachers, is that a problem here in South Florida?
Well, one of the things about vicarious trauma is that it's a silent phenomena. So teachers may not even may not even have a name for some of the experiences that they're having.
And what are they doing? I mean, are they calling in sick and, you know, just kind of ignoring whatever the problem might be?
Well, ignoring is one of the coping mechanisms, but that doesn't let go of the signs or let go of the experience. People will not show up to school. People will decrease in their efficacy in performing as a teacher or as a school personnel.
All right, so then that happens in the school, and then how does it affect them in their personal life?
This is exactly the place that we come in, because when the personal life starts to be affected by professional life, this is when we need to intervene and show people that they can and learn how to separate the professional, leave work at work, and come home and attend to their families and their private life.
Boy, don't I know it,
we also know that healing doesn't take place at home. Healing takes place for many of us in the places that we work. So we have to be able to build organizational systems that promote a culture of openness, that promote the ability to have peer-to-peer support. And the organizational system is designed, when it's healthy, to do this.
How is this different from burnout? You hear people say, oh, man, I'm burnt out.
Well, that's an excellent question, because many people confuse the two terms. So when we talk about vicarious trauma, we also have compassionate fatigue. That's another word. People might feel burnout, but then they start thinking bad about themselves. Why am I burned out? This was my mission. I always dreamed to be a teacher. Why can't I perform this work? And this is when you want to start asking yourself, what is it that you're actually dealing with? How does it affect your worldview? How does it affect your life at home? How does it affect your internal system? And check that it's not just being satisfied by your profession and time to move on to a different career, but that you are deeply affected in a negative way.
And just the last thing is that we have to recognize this is about chronic exposure to daily trauma. So it's different than the world events that we have with trauma. It's about, you know, homelessness. It's about poverty of our children. It's about the adverse childhood experiences that teachers are in direct contact with every day at overwhelming rates.
All right, so this is striking a nerve with some folks out there. I mean, you guys have a workshop coming up about this? All right, tell me about that. So
Heads Up Florida, it's the initial launch of our pioneering workshop. It's being sponsored by Karen Renaissance and Fusion Academy, and because of their graciousness, we're able to provide this free workshop to all school personnel, Palm Beach County, Broward County. It's happening on May 19th, Saturday at Old School Square. Breakfast is provided by Avenue Church and BSA contractors, and we'll start at 8:30 prompt, check in 8 a.m. Register.
You just doing this out of the goodness of your heart, or what prompted you to, do this?
We believe that there are many other professional populations that can benefit from professional development training, whether it be our teachers, whether it be our first responders, and so we are designing training and curriculum that will allow us to take care of those who take care of others.
All right, so this isn't just for teachers,
no.
It's for, okay,
and
good to know.
And it's not really only the goodness of the heart, it's also identifying that there are populations that are not being helped.
Right,
But they do need the help.
Very important. All right.
Yes.
Suzanne Spencer, Dr. Goodman, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you, John. Thank
All right,
you so
lots
much.
of luck. It's May 19th, next Saturday.
It's May 19th.
Okay, thank you so much.
Register.
All right.